felt like I wasn't invincible. I felt like the game was taken away from me for a reason. You know, obviously I didn't appreciate it enough, and I wasn't thankful enough. So I had made a promise to myself that like when I get both my legs back, I'm gonna grind this one out. I ain't playing around. So I got my ankle back. My ankle got back right. I played my next year, and I ended up Penn State. I ended up lacerating my kidney in the game. Sat down a couple more games. So it was definitely a mind thing because in college you kind of by yourself. You know, you got away from your parents. You know what I'm saying?
Yep.
You're by yourself, and you kind of like learning how to be a man. And I feel like I grew into who I needed to be. You know, in those moments when I was by myself, like mentally strong, mentally tough. I was trying to come back. Like I was trying to come back after 3 games after my lacerated kidney, and my coach was like, "Nah, we just gonna sit you out. I'm worried about your safety." I kind of think he wanted me to stay in school another year. So like I'm gonna play in a bowl game. So I had my mindset on the bowl game. I played in the bowl game against Stanford. We got the shit beat out of us. Plan B didn't go too bad that day. I told myself like I'm out. Yeah. I got injured twice. And then I was like, all right, now we ain't winning no championships. We ain't competing for no championships. So I'm gonna try to take my talents and go to the next level. And as I was coming out, I played predominantly slot. I didn't play any outside. So he had me in the slot majority working, and I felt like I was going out to be a slot return guy. And I was like, shit, I'm gonna get it by any means. I don't care how I get it.
Yeah.
So throughout my process of the combine, I got invited to the combine, luckily, and I was just like, well, I'm gonna give it everything I got. I was training every day, trying to run a good time. You know how it is. You know how the combine can be stressful for guys, especially when they're telling you can go from damn near 2 to 7. You know. So for me, I was just like, shit, I'm rocking. I'm betting on myself. I wasn't going back to school. I was saying I'm gonna bet on myself, and we'll let the chips fall.
Man, I gotta check. I know that game when y'all came to New England. It was in October. That was my rookie year. I caught my first pick. Kerry Collins was our quarterback. And it was a flash snowstorm out of nowhere. I'm talking about it was supposed to be probably 40 degrees. It just started coming down. I see y'all over there pre-game. I said, oh yeah, these boys ain't ready to play. What was that?
When y'all playing in the snow. Oh, that shit was ugly.
It was ugly, man. We're ready to go home, man.
I was about to say, what was y'all mindset when y'all see that snowstorm coming down?
Man, it was crazy because like we never played in nothing like that, never tried to catch the ball in nothing like that. And I'm from Florida, so cold period, I ain't with it. I'm not with it. So then when we get out there and it's like, man, we get out there and just see how y'all ain't even tripping about it. We like just out here like a regular sunny day. I'm like, boy, it's gonna be a long day. Then when I see Randy get 80-yard bombs down the field, I'm like, what? We can't even catch the ball.
I remember that. Yeah, I was looking. You know, you could just see in the team eyes like, oh no, they weren't ready for this.
He was ready to go home.
Ready because in New England, it could be nice outside 1 hour, and the next hour it's snowing or sleet or some shit. So for us, it was like shit, whatever. You see Brady, Oh, we practicing whatever, you know. But Bill come out there, hey, we got to play in it. You out there slipping and shit. He ain't trying to hit none of that. Hey, get you some shoes that work. He don't care about none of that. So, but it's good though, because when you practice like that, when you prepare like that, whatever thrown at you on game day, you like shit. We done practicing worse. So shit. We ain't mind it. We ain't mind, especially when you got a situation like that when another team coming from another environment. It may be warm where they at. They come up in it's cold. But we used to run to that same situation though. We go to Miami in December. You know, it done been cold for the last 2-3 months. We go down to Miami week 15. It's 85 degrees out there. That's what we always struggle. So, I mean, it worked.
305 represent. What was your most memorable rookie moment?
Shit, I could probably answer this one.
Minnesota, 2 touchdowns.
that was crazy.
Yeah.
That's what was that like? And I know that had to feel like because the only moment I ever had like that was in high school. Back-to-back plays, I scored touchdowns on the same play. But like for you to do that was in like a 30-second span. Like I don't think I ever seen nothing like that in the NFL. Like what was that? What was that moment like? That feel like surreal. Like what was that like?
Yeah, so after my first touchdown, I dunked the ball. I don't know, you saw I dunked the ball. And when I got to the sideline, Coach Rule, he was like, "You can't dunk the ball. Like, that's a flag, or like you're gonna get fined or something." All my teammates telling me I'm gonna get fined. So Rule, he said to me, he was like, "You dunk it again, like you next week we had to bye." He's like, "You dunk it again, like you're gonna have to work on the bye week next week." I was like, "What? Dunk it again?" So as soon as he said again, I was like, "Again, like I'm gonna be in the end zone again." All right. So then like the next play, I saw opportunity. Like Dalvin was held up by my teammates. So I was like, I just went in there and just took it. I got the perfect bounce. The ball bounced right up in my arm. So I was like, man, I'm out. Like I just took it and ran. So it was crazy. Like I can't even. On the sideline after the first one, everybody's like, all the defensive coaches like, all right, next play. All right, forget about the next play. You know how coach.
Yeah. Like, this after the second one?
That was after the first one. They were like, next play.
Okay.
So I score the next play. As for the back-to-back, I come back. I'm still like, all right, next play. Like I'm trying to get a 3-peat at this point.
That's crazy.
In that zone at that moment, shoot, two
tugs. Like I don't even know how I tapped into
that. A kid, man, having to make those decisions, and having to make those decisions, based off of what you think is right, where you want to go, where you want to be. And the position that your family's in at the time, when I got to Michigan, and like it was my first game of the year, and it never really crossed my mind. It did, and I was like, my mom would never be able to see me play because of how far I am. I pick up the phone, and I'm like, I'm just gonna go pro, and my mom was like, baby, you don't gotta do this for me. I'm gonna be all right. I'm like, no, it's the right thing to do. My mom and my brothers had already got evicted out of where they was living at. So my mom was living with my grandma in Pecan Gardens. And like my mom did, she was living with her mom, you know what I mean? And, in a bad situation. So that's why I left, nothing more, nothing less. I would have liked to stay, but a kid is having a dream to get to the NFL, and like you see the door, you can see the door right there.
Yeah, right there. Yeah.
I'm like, do I want to be selfish enough? Do I want to be selfish enough to do all these great things, and that I want to accomplish Rose Bowl and all that, or do I risk it by going out and getting injured? I'm already a top 10 pick, so what am I supposed to do? And I just made the decision based off of how my mom and her situation was, and it was crazy, and he opened up some wounds.
Everybody's gonna have their own unique experience, as professional athletes, especially football players. So to have that's priceless, man. So
because what reminded me. Go ahead, AB.
Nah, because I was saying, like, as athletes, we don't know what we're getting ourselves into. But shit, your support system don't either. So it's like they mom and dad is like, well, damn, like, how can I help them? You know what I mean? So all they can do is just stand firm on what they've been instilling in you your entire life. So it's not only hard on the athletes themselves or herself, but their family and support system as well.
For sure. I was gonna say, and you hit it on the head. I was gonna say, I mean, everybody probably heard like the Nipsey quote when he's saying basically like, I'm not gonna sit here and say that I just, I knew it all the whole time, or if I had all the things, aligned the right way. He just didn't quit, basically. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. And what I've learned throughout my journey, whether it's been in life or in sports, is that you never know who you're inspiration to. Like your story is always inspiring somebody else. So you quitting is also going, affect somebody else. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. Of course, you looking at it like it's you going through it, but it's somebody always watching. So even you just, all right, boom, it's a tough one. You picking your head up and just continue to keep trucking on through, that's inspiration for somebody else. And everybody life mission, of course, everybody want to be the greatest in everything they ever do. Everybody want to be successful, but some people mission in life is to inspire others. And you know what I'm saying? Right. Your story is going to mean a lot to other people that's watching. So, man, I would say anybody to get a chance to watch this, if anything, if you learn from my story, just remember, man, just continue to keep keep pushing. Like everything ain't gonna be high, everything gonna be low. But at the end of the day, if the opportunity is still in front of you, continue to keep pushing forward.
As you say, what you say? Keep striving.
Keep striving, baby.
Yeah.
That's a word, man. Jack _N. Which wide receiver talks the most shit?
I feel like receivers don't really talk to me that much though, because when I'm playing, I ain't really saying much to you, and if you saying something, I'm talking to you. I feel like it was DeAndre Hopkins. He was who I played this year that was talking the most shit though.
Yeah,
Hop definitely be out there rapping. I respect this game though. Hop, when he was in Houston, we played against him a lot, obviously in the same division. But every week he was out there every down. You know, wasn't no tapping out, wasn't no subbing out. He out there every down. You hit him, he getting back up. You gonna chirp a little bit. But yeah, I agree with that. Not too many receivers who talk like Ocho.
Yeah.
I wish you'd have came across him in his heyday, boy.
Ocho, Steve Smith. I seen Steve Smith talk bad to some boys, man. Hold on, Slim. You ain't gonna talk to my guy like that.
My rookie year, we played against Steve Smith, and you know, in that meeting, I wasn't playing. I was injured. So doing that, they was like, "Man, don't try to talk. Don't talk." Nothing.
Yeah.
Really like that.
Smitty was like that. Yeah, he was gonna back it up though. He was gonna back it up, but he played. You know, obviously he was small. I feel like Smitty had a little bit of little man syndrome.
Not a little bit. He had a lot of that.
But he played like he was 6'5", 250. I remember
for sure.
We played against Pat Peterson. Before his first game of his rookie year. That boy got up in the team meeting Saturday night. Hey, man, I'm about to go out here and baptize this boy, man. He went out there, had about 200. Damn. Pat P ran one back, 96 on us though to win the game though, so he got his get back.
Yeah. I seen him talk crazy to one of my teammates. I ain't gonna call his name out, but shit, we playing, and Steve Smith caught the route. It was like a crossing route. He turned it up on the sideline. Buddy came and tried to hit him on the sideline, and Steve Smith ain't moved. You know what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. So he threw the ball at the ref, looked at my man, was like, "Little boy, you gotta go get your daddy. His big boys out." I'm like, "Hold on, Slim. Like, we ain't calling nobody no little boys out here." But
hey, Smitty was
like,
different. I got a funny one for him. KVAR P23. This is a question I done seen multiple times. Why did you never talk to Pat McAfee?
Hey man, it's this stigma out there, right? It's this stigma. I don't know where the stigma comes from, right? All right, so back when we was playing, okay, and I talked to Pat. When I see Pat, we talked. You know, last time we was at the draft, we talked. We actually took a picture. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
I ain't got nothing against Pat. Everybody think I hate Pat, right? Like I don't have nothing against Pat at all, man. You know what I'm saying? So like, I guess it was kind of my fault, I guess, because like Jeff Saturday and Tarek Glenn, all my teammates would be like, "Hey man, like Pat's scared to talk to you, man. Why? What you do to Pat?" Like I ain't even talked to Pat. I don't know what you're talking about. So it just kept going on. Like, man, what you do to Pat, man? Pat talking about he don't even want to walk over there by your locker. Like, what the problem is? I'm like, bro, I don't know. So I say, you know what? I'm gonna keep that shit going, right? So every time Pat would come around, I just meme mug. You know, I just you know what I mean? I just meme mug, and then I guess it's just been going on and on and on. But I ain't got anything.
Life is on.
Yeah, you know what I mean? Pat was good, man. You know, he was a real good punter, great punter, man. He did his job. He did what he had to do. As long as he did what he had to do, I had no problem with it. You know what I mean? But when I see Pat, I talk to Pat. You know?
Yeah, man. Shout out to Pat, man. Shout out to Pat. He helped us get this thing kicked off, man.
He definitely did. He definitely did.
Yeah. And then if we're gonna really talk about the issues, let's look at Ohio State. You cover college ball. You know that's not the cleanest program. It hasn't been when he was there. Then he went to the Washington organization, which we know what's going on right now, even with their owner. So he's been around these rocky coaches his whole career. And yeah, he made some very stupid decisions in the middle of a pandemic. But to not only do that, and you know how you feel about him, that's how you feel about him. I respect that. But when you cast that general net, that's when it was like, damn, Booger, like I feel what you're trying to say, but Nah, you lost me with that, and I know you try to make it personal, and that's important. I think it's even more important for us to show these dudes, to tell these dudes, because a lot of this is like we don't know what we don't know. You know what I mean? A lot of us, and it's like not only on the football side of it, that's important, but it is important to build your brand alongside that. Now, understand football is the reason you had this platform, but that brand should serve you a lot longer than this game will. And like you leverage your relationships, you leverage your network into, where you are today. And it's not a lot of us, but everybody ain't Booger Mcfarland. Everybody ain't, everybody can't do that, can't do it the way you did it. But it's a lot of things that we can teach these cats off the field that's going to set them up for success later. So I feel like that I just hate when we going back and forth this type of way. And it's like, man, we need to be on the same page, telling these dudes the same, really some real game, as opposed to, making it harder, making it easier for people to jump on that. Oh yeah, they lazy, they do this. Because now when Justin Fields coming out in the draft, now they're gonna be, oh, what's up? What, right. Is he another Dwayne Haskins? So that's where I kind of got my feelings about it, I guess.
To your point, Twan, and I'm gonna give it to you right now, Twan. But let me say this. When you look at it overall, as far as building the brand, and I think this is where we disagree a little bit, and we can agree to disagree. I built the foundation first. So my rookie year, second year, even though social media wasn't prevalent, I wasn't doing a bunch of off the field things because I knew I needed to establish my career.
So when did you make that move from corner to safety?
It wasn't until I got drafted.
Oh, so you played corner? Oh, okay.
Yeah.
But
we experimented with it against West Virginia. So matter of fact, hold on. So West Virginia.
No, we're not gonna talk about
that. Just real quick. This was a group effort, guys. This is a group effort. We keep it a buck on here. All right. We talk about when AD get ran over and shit sometimes. We talk about all type of shit. This West Virginia game put my dog at safety. Mind you.
So who West Virginia had at that time?
Bruh. Everybody. You name them, they was there at Pat White, Steve Slayton.
They are one of the most slept on teams of all time.
They had Tavon Austin. Was Tavon Austin out there?
Nah,
he wasn't there yet.
He wasn't there yet.
Nah,
he was the first Tavon Austin.
Facts. So they had Noah Devine. They had Jock Sanders, which is another dude. They had Darius Raynaud, who went to the league, played a little bit in the league.
Yeah,
he was a returner.
Yeah, he was nice.
But really, all they needed was number 5 and number 10. Pat White, Steve Slayton. That shit. That was the only game in my life, in my professional, not even 24-hour fitness, anywhere I've ever competed, where I was like, bro, I don't want to play no more. I don't want to play no more.
They got ugly. They got ugly.
They was running that zone read shit.
Yeah.
Me and D Butt sitting on the bench on the sideline. He looked at me. I looked at him. I was like, bro. This is ugly, bro.
But they had like 500 yards rushing on it, something crazy. But
and mind you, we the 2 teams in the Big East that's fighting for the Big East championship.
We fight for it. We fight for it. And
I think we might have been both undefeated at the time too.
Yeah, we went on to when did we do that? Did we co-champs or something like that?
We were co-champs. Yep.
We were the co-champ, but they went on and they got the BCS bid and they went and beat Georgia in the Sugar Bowl.
Yeah.
So I was happy to see that made me feel a little bit better about that. But in the game, in the WNBA game, Fabrice Stewart, Maya, Tina Charles, just all up and down every roster, every draft. So how was that transition? Like now you go from UConn, and I feel like the women's game in college, like once y'all go to the pros, like y'all seeing a bunch of each other again. Like it's the top dogs. How was that transition to the league?
It was actually really good, and you kind of hit on it. For me, it wasn't as scary going to the WNBA, knowing that some of my friends are already there. It was kind of like, all right, I watched it too, and I think a lot of young kids don't watch the WNBA, which I think is like mind blowing. Boy, I was studying the WNBA, because that's where I was about to be in my mind. So I was watching the players, I was watching the ones I knew, the ones I didn't know. And so when I got there, I felt like I knew a lot of the players before I even did. I mean, a lot of players could even contest this. I would talk to people like I'm friendly.
Yeah.
So I would talk to people like I knew them, but I forget that they didn't know me like that. So I just came in and I would just show them respect though. To me, like I was like, yo, you killed it last year in the semifinal. Like just talking to people.
Yeah.
And I think that made me more comfortable because I knew the game and I knew what the WNBA looked like. And then not to mention, you know, I played on teams where I played with Maya, I played with Tina Charles, I played with Birdie. You know, I played with a lot. I played with Kalena Green, Asia Jones. I played with a lot of UConn players, basically, because there's a lot of us in the league.
Yeah,
and so it was kind of like, shoot, at the Connecticut Sun, it was like UConn on steroids in the sense of we just didn't have school. Now it was just our job. We had like 4 UConn players on the squad. It was lit, to say the least.
Yeah, for sure.
I got a question for you. It's always been crazy to me when you watch the WNBA after y'all season is over. You see some of y'all top players going overseas and doubling up. Like what is that about? That's always been wild to me.
Doubling up. There's players, man, like quadrupling up overseas. Overseas is where, I mean, overseas is what paid for my house. If we're being honest, overseas paid for me to gift my parents a Mercedes. Like overseas paid for that. And the reason I say that is because overseas you make more than you make in the WNBA, a lot more. But also you don't get taxed the same in a sense of the overseas people pay the taxes. So there's just like most of the money is actually going to you. And so, man, I remember, I'll never forget, I was grinding in Russia for a house down payment. Like I was making stacks a month and I'm like, all right, by this month I can pay for a down payment on my house. And I just remember that grind, but that's why I wouldn't change it because the lifestyle that I'm living right now, obviously the WNBA had a part of that too. But overseas money really paid for a lot of the things that I'm enjoying now.
And it's definitely a grind. I'm sure that experience.
I don't know if people know, but I was like that house that I was so excited to get. Like I got it probably 10 years ago. But at the time I was probably in my house 2 weeks out of the year, and that's like if it was a good year. That's like if it was an amazing year and I had 2 weeks at my own house.
That's crazy.
I was at my WNBA team location, or I was overseas. So yeah, it's a grind. Like that's what I'll say. It's a grind for real.
I know. Forget physically. I know mentally, it was rough.
That's taxing. Yeah,
because you got to remember, we won a championship with the Minnesota Lynx, and 8 days later, I had to report in France. So it was like I had to decide: do I want to go to the championship parade, or do I want to just go home and get a couple days to myself? I ended up doing the parade, going to the governor's mansion, and all of that. So then I only had 3 days like to myself before I went overseas to France. So yeah, it's just tough because you come off of a whole season and just mentally where you're grinding for a championship, and then you just got to start back over in like a week and just start from training camp, square one, and that's the hardest part to me.
Yeah,
man. Yeah, welcome. That's crazy.
Welcome to the league, Mo. I already know that.
Absolutely.
Back then, playing the position he was playing.
His name is Alan Faneca, bro. Ooh. Alan Faneca.
He just went to the Hall, right?
Just went to the Hall, and I never forget it, bro. It was, you know, we were in the red zone. I got my number called, the blitz up the like A or B gap or the A gap, and you know, it's like third down. You know, I was like, oh, okay, I finally get my shot to show what I can do, blitzing. And, you know, now that I know, well, I didn't know at the time. So basically, Allen, you know, you help the tackle, right? You block out to help the tackle because you have no one threatening. He blocks the tackle. And I see the hole just open up like the Red Sea. Now I'm looking like if I could touch my fingers, I'm licking my lips trying to get through. I'm like, this shit is opening up. I'm about to save the day. And lo and behold, he peeled back. Bow. Yeah. Bro, I lifted. They had to come get me. They scored. Chad Johnson scored, but I'll never forget going back and watching that. And the coach was like, yeah, I told your ass. Like, these linemen, they're smart. They don't just do things just to do it. Especially this guy, Alan Faneca. You know,
for a reason.
And that's when I started thinking about the league a lot differently. I was like, oh shit, I gotta manipulate these guys, show them do something else. Yeah. So, and that was my welcome to the NFL moment, bro. It crushed me. They never called my number that rest of the year. Doing that, bro. Yeah.
Hey, but that's real though, because I had that happen. I've had that happen to me too, man. Like hole open up, you think you running free the whole time. All they doing is helping, but they eyes is on you.
Right.
Yep.
And your peripheral game is you zeroed in on the quarterback.
You see that quarterback. Yeah.
Yep, they had to come get me. Come get him.
Yeah, them times where you sitting at lunch and you sit down with the old lineman or the quarterback and be like,
Right.
just start asking them questions like, man, look,
Hey, a lot of people coming into the season were saying Kyler Murray potentially another cat with a crazy high school resume. But he obviously, I'm gonna say it if you want, best quarterback, I've seen in Arizona. How is that going up against a cat like that and that type of offense every day, and then usually on Sundays seeing different offenses? How was that?
Yeah, I mean, and during camp, you're only going against your offense. So,
yep.
They're a heavy 11 personnel team, like to throw the ball. So we were just getting ready for our track shoes and stuff like that. And, getting ready to break on routes sometimes too. So it was definitely, it's definitely different for sure going into the season and playing, especially if 49ers, a 21 personnel team.
Yeah.
Who,
you don't see that a lot.
Exactly.
But
you don't see a lot anyway.
He's seeing both extremes. You're seeing one offense in practice off training camp, and now you're going to the complete opposite extreme with San Fran. That's crazy.
Exactly. So but definitely going against our offenses, we have a lot of great receivers, and going against our receivers every day and on our team definitely helps me go against receivers on opposing teams as well, because there's a lot of great receivers out in the league, but our receivers are really good too. So it's definitely good for me too, because I'm a safety, but I like to label myself as being able to cover whoever on whatever side of the field.
The more you can do.
Yeah, that's what the game has come down to, man. Good players in space, man. You got to be able to play in that box, but you definitely got to be able to play in space. So going against offense, Twan, you went through a lot of your career having Peyton on the other side in practice. I had Brady, Cam Newton, and Luck. So going against them talented quarterbacks and the minds and athleticism, it definitely helps you going out there on Sunday, because it's like, man, I done seen Kyler all training camp. Like, I know I'm not going to see that type of talent every week going out there. So that's going to pay dividends.
Oh, yeah. One thing I do want to talk about is K1 speed, because that man is fast.
It's crazy.
People might think he has short strides, but he's getting out of there.
He angles up. I seen angles up.
When he broke that touchdown run he had, when he put that foot in the ground at the end, it just bounced. Like, everybody know when they see a dude do that, like, okay, that's different. Like, they got a different gear. Ain't too many cats can just put that foot in the ground and just know, because you look back like, this over with. Like that, you don't see that, especially at the quarterback position.
But talk about those first 3 years. Like you said, when you was a core special teamer, like, what did that do for you as a player, and even for you as a human being? Because sometimes that could be like a real humbling experience. You know what I mean?
Oh yeah, absolutely. It was very humbling, because you always think to yourself you're greater than what you are, but you are what you put on film. And a whole lot of growth that needed to happen in order for me to assume that role as a starter, and especially being an undersized guy. So you have to do twice as much to get half as far. Being a core teamer, they're gonna get all of that work about you. A guy, he labeled me as a what they call them guys. You bring him in for camp and then cut him.
A camp body,
camp legs, camp body.
Yeah, they call me a camp body. Like my rookie year coming in, because naturally all these defensive ends are like 6, except Dwight. He's the first round pick. These guys are 6'5" or better, the classic prototypical DNs. And so I had to say, okay, so what is a camp body? Well, basically, he said, and that's not John Turley. He was like, no, you're going to make the team. Somebody you bring in to give the actual guys a rest until the season. So I was like, oh, really? Okay. So I kind of took that and just kind of packaged that into another chip on my shoulder. Used it to benefit whatever I needed to benefit. But it taught me to, extra work, no excuses, no explanations, and that's a Dungy-ism. That's a Dungy-ism.
Yeah.
And I use that in life now. Like,
man, what?
Twan used that on the last episode.
Hey, all the time.
I was talking about my Heat, man. Yeah, man, we got this guy. No excuses, no explanations.
At all. None of that.
At all. So I use that to this day, and just kind of use that to get through those first few years. And my thing was just let me learn this playbook. Now I can just play as fast as I want to. So really, once you eliminate excuses and any possibility of it, you can just turn it to the player.
Comments made the other day, Danny Amendola, your former teammate, about the Patriot way. He was saying, it's Tom Brady and that's the Patriot way. I responded to it and named a bunch of guys. You were definitely one of them. What in your idea is, I guess, to the summation of the quote unquote Patriot way?
Your culture is not something you are, it's something you do year in and year out, what you do. And to me, the Patriot way started back when those guys didn't know that they was even developing a Patriot way. The Teddy Bruschi's, the Ty Laws, the Vince Wilforks, the Lloyd Malloys, the Willie McGinnises, like all of those guys, the Matt Lights and all those guys, like they started to do something because they just thought like, hey, this is how we can win. And I think when you play up here for a while, you meet those guys. I've sat and talked to Jermaine Wiggins, a guy that didn't have a lot of big games, but like when they played Oakland and the snow was coming down and they needed somebody to step up, he had like, I think 8 catches in the game and ended up becoming an X factor. Like all of those guys are the Patriot way. And the common guys in all of these years, Tom and Bill, those guys were, and to me, it's like, when you talk about the Patriot way, it's everybody. It's all of it. It's the players, it's the coaches. And who's the leader of that? As from the player standpoint, it's Tom. Like for some reason, when you break all those guys down, Tom is just different. And it's totally different. 6 Super Bowl wins, 10 appearances. You have all that, 9 of those appearances in New England, 6 of the wins. So you're like, well, what is the difference? And I think the Patriot way is the difference. The other guys doing the things that the team believes in. And I think when you talk about that, like, why do the other guys do that? It's because the head coach. Like, he did that. And if you don't do it, you've seen it. Everybody's seen it. Guys that come in and out of that place. And I don't care if you are a first-round pick, if you're one of the most highly touted free agents in NFL history. Like, if it can work out, he gets rid of you. And I think that's a part of that Patriot way and that culture. So I definitely don't think it's, Tom Brady's picture in the dictionary, except if you want to put his picture and say it represents, I definitely would agree.
And then we talk about, okay, if you get your first contract, you can spend this much money and you can put this much away. And we're going to be very conservative with this. Stay away from any investment that someone asks you that you think they need your money for.
Right.
Try to do only investments that they're helping you to make you money. Rather than,
makes sense.
Like the restaurant is the easiest thing. I mean, 90% of restaurants fail. So if someone's asking you to put up money and you have your big name, you're a big name guy in the town you're in, and you shouldn't have to put anything up. If you want to be on the face of that restaurant, fine. That's your own thing. But you shouldn't give anyone money for a restaurant. You shouldn't give anyone money for an investment like that. It should be only to help yourself.
Dick's Sporting Goods is somewhere, and I see your face up there. And I'm like, damn, I do legit first, but I first heard of them boys out of St. Thomas starting that shit. So that's obviously a long road. And like you said, everybody sees the Hollywood from college and then straight to the first round league. So now that you got posters and commercials, and I see after NFL games and stuff, you see Goldfeet Global in the credits and shit. So talk a little bit about that path, because like you said, you connected with a lot of people who's like you said, not playing football anymore, and that was your goal, but you changed and built the empire. So tell me a little bit about that.
When I go to Australia, the person who really got my mindset to group training and building an empire was a dude named Roger Fabry. Connected through social media. I'm fresh. The same year I didn't hear my name called for the NFL draft was the same year as I was in Australia. Ryan Clark was the first one to put money in my pocket in 2015. He was flying me to Baton Rouge to train Jordan Clark right now, who plays for Arizona State, the starting cornerback, #1. And I was training him when he was in high school, and just getting that mentorship I kind of give you an example of things that made me see the light. He was taking me to Canes, one of the first Canes in Baton Rouge. And as we driving, I look up and I see him on the billboard. Right? What's the timing of that? You know what I'm saying? That's how I know God is real.
Yeah.
You know? And I like look over to the side. I'm like, man, that's dope, man. He was like, it could be too. You know, so like being able to be around him, I got to see someone who was retired from the NFL. That was a great father. And this was before he even started pushing so deep into the ESPN analyst. I got to see him come up too. You know, at the same process of a new job. Right?
Yeah.
So I knew Ryan Clark as a Pittsburgh Steeler, you know, but Ryan Clark was just now building his new football life.
You know, skateboarders, like, dude, we didn't make that much money. Like, we didn't make millions. So we're, I guess, and I'm kind of guessing here, but in the football world, we'd probably be like some of the guys that don't play that much that might make, I don't know what, 100 to 300 grand a year or something like that. Do those guys exist in football?
Yeah.
Okay.
Well, I think the minimum, minimum's around like 500 grand, like, you know, obviously 250, 300 after taxes.
Okay, so check it out. Your guys' minimum is higher than the majority of pro skateboarders, right? So we have to really be disciplined with how we get our money to work. But what I learned was I always had this idea that you can only achieve financial freedom if you're rich. Like rich is the only way to do it. And through my experience, it's not true. It's all about consistency. And it doesn't matter if you're making 100 grand a year or $4 million a year. A lot of times the guys making $4 million a year struggle more.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
That's right. And that's because it's all behavioral at the end of the day.
And then it's all about the long game. So that's what a lot of us, especially as athletes, we're so short-term focused. You know, our goals are usually short-term. Is what we got to do that day, that week, that month, that season. And we don't really look and think out, you know, 10, 20, you know, 50 years from now. And then when I'm gone, then who am I leaving? What am I leaving my kids? So it's hard, especially for us. So, you know, we're making a bunch of money, but at the same time, our average career is, you know, 3 years. So you retired from your first career. You're probably 28, 29 years old, if you're lucky. And now you have this whole life to manage, and for the situation for a lot of us, we aren't coming from great financial literacy, and the people that are working for us aren't really there to truly like help and guide and mentor and show you. I'm sure a lot of the things that Randy showed, they just kind of there to get their managing fee and move on, and hopefully you bring 2 or 3 more clients with them. So it's so important that you know, that we find those people and put those right people around us and learn like you did. Get somebody that you can really get them to take you on their wing and learn from them, man. That's some real game right there.
Real game.
Cowboys, they just got so many weapons on offense, but like y'all played in a lot of secondaries. If it don't matter how good your front seven is, if your back end is not complete, and I mean, like if y'all ain't on the same page
at all times,
it can be a long I don't care how talented. I mean, like I said, we had Dwight Freeney, Robert Mathis rushing on the edge and went 2-14 one year.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So it can just be tough.
Quarterback, bro. Come on, man.
Yeah. That's another story.
That's a whole other story.
We was
my man Painter in there.
Yo, we was actually out there balling, bro. On deep, we was
fighting, bro. We was
fighting every week, bro. It was like 7 games we lost by less than 6 points.
Yeah.
Yep.
You know what I'm saying? So we was out there, bro. Yeah, that's a whole nother. That's
the thing, though. That's the thing about playing DB, because you look at the box score, you be like, oh, they gave up.
Hey, respect the Curtis Painter, man. We gonna get Paint on the show, man. We gonna talk about that.
Yeah, because my man wasn't prepared for that, yo. They ain't prepared. That was a bad situation.
Peyton was supposed to be the starter. Then Kerry Collins came in and robbed us for
3 mil.
3 mil real quick.
Yo, Kerry Collins came to the locker room when we played Tennessee. Like, what's up, guys? Like,
he in the recording studio. He in the recording studio every week, every day, record music.
That boy Troy Polamalu bumped him, and he had a concussion and shut it down. When I say he bumped him.
Hey, I respected Kerry Collins. Hey.
Was he already retired though? And they just kind of called him?
Yeah, we came and got him.
Like, yo, we need
One
you.
of the little runner guys says, Eric, Tom wants to see you. And I'm like, yes, he's going to cut me. I could go somewhere, you know, someone who wants me, pay me. So I get up there in this room, and I kid you not, I don't know how I didn't jump across the table and kill this guy. So we're just kind of, he's like, you want to sit down? I'm like, no, I don't want to sit down. What do you want? Like, what's up? He's like, we got to stop doing this. Like, we can't keep going back and forth. I'm like, you're the one that started this and lied and put out in the radio that I want all this demands. Like, who are you kidding? Did you not think I was going to stand up for myself?
Yeah.
And he's like, Eric, I can remember like it was yesterday. And you know me, I'm not going to lie. Like, I tell how it is. If you're a bum, you're a bum. If you're good, you're good. Like, it's just me. If you don't like it, I don't really care.
Yeah.
So he's like, Eric, he's like, you got to listen. He's like, where, it is hard for a guy to get a third contract with the same team. And as he said this, I was thinking to myself, I'm like, it happens all the time. Like,
yeah.
What are you talking about?
Especially when they're first team all pro.
Yeah. And he's like, man, those guys are special. Like, they got to do, there are unique guys in this league. And he's like, Eric, and he looks me in my eyes. He's like, Eric, and he's like, those guys that get a third contract, those guys are like Hall of Fame type guys. And we just don't think that about you. And I looked down and said, this will be the last time we ever speak. I walked out, and those are the last words I've ever spoken to that man.
That's crazy, man.
So I went, so I'll give you the fast forward note. So the 6 weeks before camp, I come back to camp, and mind you, AB, you guys have been in a spot for a number of years. Imagine that whole building, people you've met and became close with.
They love you.
They blackballed me, bro. I'd walk down the hallway to say hi to someone, and they would completely ignore me. Like,
wow.
As if I was invisible.
And this after 8 years.
I am not kidding. It was like, it was the worst year I have ever had to go through in my life.
Man, let's talk about business. So we mentioned Iggy earlier, and I know I follow a lot of athletes and what they're doing off the court, off the field. I know he's big, kind of like that VC space. He was one of the first athletes that I actually see talking about stuff like that. And that's kind of why we started this podcast, honestly, to open up that dialogue, not only on the court, on the field, but off, you know what I mean? Because we humans. At the end of the day, it's going to be a lot longer, a lot more important moments that happen off the field, off the court. So business-wise, was there anybody or anything that helped you, whether in a locker room or on your personal team that you hired, that just helped you kind of become more business savvy? Be like, all right, let me align with these things, whether it's investments, what's to do with your money, things like that.
I think it's just competitiveness, man. I think that's what hurts us as athletes, and black men, the competitiveness. Like, yo, my investment is better than yours. I'm gonna go get this. I'm gonna put this money, and it hurts because we don't share knowledge.
Right. Right.
But like a lot of times it's based off of my gut feeling. Like I invested in Hyperice 12 years ago.
Ooh,
early game. Yeah, I was an angel investor, and that paid off, and it's paid for some of the fuck ups I made, investment wise.
Yeah.
But that's what it's about, though. You just gotta have more wins, you have losses.
Yeah,
that's it.
And like you said, sharing that knowledge, man, sharing that game, because
paying it forward.
Yep, facts. When you around other business people, and like you said, with black men, for some reason, that's just how it's been. But we got to change. We got to be a part of that change, because I know
so competitive.
Yeah, facts, man. I know some of my wealthy or rich white friends, and it's really about deal flow. Obviously, being who you are, being in the rooms and the dinners or whatever that you at, you're gonna have opportunities like that Hyperice opportunity. Like, you're gonna have opportunities,
right?
And for us, it's like, shit, if I ain't gonna invest and I ain't gonna do it, shit, I ain't gonna tell nobody.
It's
like, nah, this may not be the right thing for me. Maybe I don't believe in it that much.
But I can put my man on.
I put you. I know he into that. Let me holler at him about.
That's what it's about.
And that's what people do, back and forth.
And it's enough out there for everybody, man. It's enough out there for everybody.
Oh yeah, for sure.
Yeah, he won
an Emmy. That's big right there.
Tell me about that Emmy. That boy won an Emmy while he's still playing, man. Talk to us about that. I just came. I forgot about that.
We did a Coach production called Coach Life,
and
they basically cover like a 10-minute short film on just who you are as a person. But like, we've done Bobby, Darius, AWalk, myself,
Naheem Hines, and it was just cool that that one was nominated for the short film or whatever. But I had like 3 of them that was nominated for different things. But luckily, like that one was chosen or whatever. But it was about, you know, coming to my hometown. I hold a community festival and a football camp each year on the same weekend or whatever. And then the day before, we do like a backpack blitz at the Boys and Girls Club to get the kids ready for school and everything. And then, you know, just going around town and just I was just giving out jerseys to people that I appreciated, that helped shape me be Kenny Moore II. So, you know, they felt like it deserved the Emmy. So, I mean, I'll take it, but like, nah, it was a true blessing though. It was a true blessing.
That's a dope account. Did you ever imagine in your wildest dreams you'd want an Emmy?
Bro,
was that something?
I think whenever I saw Kobe win a Grammy, I was like, dang, like athletes can really like go into a whole different like field. You know what I mean? Like it's not just about your work of art as far as like your job that you take on each day. Is more so like using your job to maneuver through different things and accomplishing literally whatever you want to do. You know what I mean? So the Emmy is back there, and I see it every day whenever I walk out, and I'm just like, dang, like
that's crazy. It's a reminder, man.
It's crazy,
That's love. That's
but
love.
It's more so that I want to do. Like that gave me like what I want to say. That like encouraged me to like do more than just football.
What about that culture, man, in Chicago, man? I know like early in my when I first came to the league, that culture was strong. And then just speak about just as far as like being a running back going to Chicago and just like the history of great running backs that's been there. And I'm pretty sure they probably up in the building as a young running back. Like how did that make you feel when you came in that building, like seeing those guys and having to come behind them?
Yeah, I mean, as soon as I got drafted, like one of my buddies brought me a book about Gale Sayers and Brian Piccolo. So, you know, got to learn the history of the Bears a little bit and how it started with George Halas and all that. And so that culture is in the legend of the Bears. It runs deep. And so to learn, understand that, and you're a rookie coming in, it puts a little weight on your shoulder. You know, some people may be a little anxious about it, but it gave me like motivation to be like the legends that everybody talk about. Dick Butkus, Walter Payton, Gale Sayers, those, you know, names like that, to want to be like those guys when I'm finished playing. So the culture, that part is great. You know, rest in peace, Gale Sayers. He just actually passed away. But to follow in footsteps like guys like those running backs, Thomas Jones was great for him as well. And, you know, got Neil Anderson. Like, they just had a lot of good running backs, you know, before I got there. So that motivated me to want to be one of the best. But then also, player-wise, I think the legendariness of, like, the guys that played before and the Hall of Famers and stuff, they need to get back to that, because, like, when I was playing, like, we didn't have a good culture because we had too much turnover. We had when I was there, we had 3 different GMs and I think 3 different head coaches and 5 different offensive coordinators.
Hey, how long you was out there?
8 years. In 8 years. So like
that's a long time.
That's a lot of turnover in 8 years. So like you never get any continuity because every GM and coach wants to get his own players in or his own philosophy.
You know, you get drafted to Detroit and it's tough, man. It's tough, especially when you're young and a little immature. Like I was. Like I only played 2 years really of high school football, 3 years of college football. Here I am as a professional, you know, athlete. I'm still kind of young in the game. And I wasn't ready for Detroit. Detroit wasn't ready for
me. You a first round pick. A top 10 pick at that. So it's high expectations, you know, from everybody in the building, from obviously the front office to the locker room. When you walk in, you take somebody. You
don't understand that as a 20-year-old getting drafted. You don't understand. You know what I'm saying?
You're not even 21 yet.
I'm not even 21. I think I just turned 21. Our year was the year they pushed the draft back to May.
Y'all remember that? It was mad weird. We had like competed with like the Oscars had moved up or something.
Yeah,
so
I do remember that.
back to like May that year. So I had just turned 21, but I was supposed to be before. Man, if I like I said to my wife sometimes, I'd be like, man, if I could do Detroit all over again with the shit that I knew now. Sorry for cutting.
No, you good. No, you good.
You in the locker room.
Yeah.
For the shit that I knew now, if I could do Detroit all over again, I would. But I was not mentally ready for the 10th overall going into, you know what I'm saying? Like,
what's the biggest thing you would do over though? Like, what's the number one or top two things you would do over?
I just be more mature about my business. I would study the game a little bit more. I would do all of that. I really didn't understand that until like my 3rd, 4th year in the league. You know what I'm saying? So I would give it more. I would give it more at the beginning. I feel like you get it now, you grow, you understand, your routine, your process, the things that make you work now going into 8 years. But if I could do it all over again, I'd probably.
Hey, what's that story about? What old lineman you scooped and slammed when y'all was y'all probably who you ain't gotta say no name, but what?
I ain't never seen an old lineman at the tight end get a scuff. Was it
an old line or was it D lineman?
No, you talking about Larry Allen.
Larry Allen.
Yeah, me and Larry Allen got into it, man. We talking about the world's strongest man. Oh man, let me tell you, man. I thought that day my life was over.
What happened?
Man, he kept you know how it is when you're a rookie and then you get into your 2nd year and then somebody still still bother you, still make you do this and do that.
Yeah, you still got 3 games. 4 games. Yeah.
Man, I got tired of it, man. I said, look, man, I said, no, you chill. I told him off. So he came over to the sideline walking to me like this, like Debo. So then, I saw him approaching. I almost swallowed my tongue. I'm like, all right. He said, what you say, young buck? What you say, young punk? I was like, I was like, you heard what I said. He grabbed my hair, right? And then he let it go. Then he swung at me, and I dodged it. And I came back and I hit him. And then we start scuffling. Everybody ran over there, man. I was so thankful they ran over there because he's about to kill me, man.
Man, what was Larry at? About 350 at that time?
Yeah, he's about 350. He probably left the house. I mean, I don't know how I got
grown man strength.
Yeah, he was gonna let me have it.
Yeah,
man, that's crazy.
I know y'all rookie. Them days. What about your rookie show? They ain't put you on the spot and do your rookie show. You ain't have a company show for your rookie joint.
I have 4 rookie shows. I have 4.
Oh,
I have 4
man.
because I was on 4 teams my rookie year.
That was a busy year. Right there.
Hell yeah. That boy was on tour then. Shit.
Man, look.
I impersonated to lead.
What you do with that?
I gotta see that to lead.
I impersonated to lead because he had the ball. He, you know what I'm saying? He kept, and like Lee was just like he's like, nah, it's gonna be nice and neat. I'm a press and I'm gonna get up. I'm on my sherm shit. Then I'm coming back. Like, coach, that right there, that shit right there, that shit ain't gonna work. I'm telling, like, let me get him. Let me yoke his ass up real quick. like he was a bully.
Yeah.
So I impersonated to leave, and then I left there, and then I went to Baltimore, and then I impersonated Steve Smith.
Oh, shit.
I had Steve. I was. I'm a real one. You know what I'm saying? Like, I hold my own. But when I seen Steve Smith, like, I grew up. Like, I really like watched Steve Smith and Colton Finnegan like growing up because I just felt like you know what I'm saying. They kind of I just like their game.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Steve Smith, I seen him, and then Baltimore was like, I had like it was like practices would be like no warm up. You just come out there like
you go
sprinting. Like, it's like
you better get your own dynamic in.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Man, we come out sprinting and then everything was like a game. And like nobody really wanted to go one-on-one with him. know what I mean? Because he's a little hot. So
Smitty was a hot head,
like, man,
bro.
let me get that work. Like everything he do in the game, like that spin, that like all that, he was doing that in practice. One-on-ones, he catch a slant and all that. I was like, slant. You know what I'm saying? Like, but nobody really wanted to get that work. So I was like, man, I'm gonna get it. And then the first day, I was getting worked. I mean, work. Like he was just catching shit, laughing, like, like just telling me what he was gonna do. And that whole week, so I said, you know what? Next week, I was like, fuck. I was like, ain't no homeboy. Like I'm gonna go at him. And every day I just made plays against him. And I remember he like one day I was feeling myself. Like I made like two, three PBUs and left my arm in. I left my arm in, like, you know, letting him know like I just did that. Then he looked at me, he said, hey, young, he ain't call me Lou. He said, he called me my last, he said, young. He said, hey, young. He said, hey, put your head in there, I'm gonna break that shit just like that. and then like in the heat of the moment, I forgot it was Steve Smith. So I was just I said, man, about shit, like play ball. But then like he kept looking at me and shit the whole practice. I was like, so then like after meetings and shit, like you know, in the locker room about to, I'm about to shower and shit, and he came and he came in there. It was just me, and then he walked in and I grabbed the helmet. I was like, I seen him. I was like, if this motherfucker try me, I'm gonna swing on this helmet. So I held the helmet like this, holding it. He walked up to me. He's like, hey, young buck, like you know what I mean, I like that. He said, these other guys, they ain't gonna do that. You know what I'm saying? Got a lot of heart. Like I was like, all right, but I was like trying to be like, I was like, man, I'm just out here, man. You know what I mean? Yeah. But in my head, I was like, oh shit. Yeah, that was a good experience.
But appreciate y'all, man, for rocking as usual.
See
y'all Thursday.
Man. Y'all go tap in the past show.
You already know. You out of here.
Peace.